Tales of the Strange and Exotic Random Book Review. Now this is a book that I've had forever and ever and ever, and I'm kind of doing this because I'm hoping to bring more people to the wonder that is Elfquest, who supposedly, I hate the thought that it's like, it's the final quest. It's like, no more Elfquest! Oh, it's like you don't want to see the world end. And I don't know if it's still available, but if you go like elfquest.com, you were able to read up until like the final quest every single Elfquest graphic novel they ever did, except my version of Wave Dancers, which is kind of annoying. There's two different Wave Dancers that deal with like ocean elves. Now there's sort of her version, and then I guess I can't remember who the writer was, or the artist that is sort of in that world, but there's something that they won't let you read the series, and I think it was like a 6-issue series, and I have like 2 of them. Like, I want to know what happens, you know, what the hell happened to Winterwill, and why is she here, and I don't know. And of course that's the one that they won't let you read. But there are tons of comics out there, and this is a book series that you have to look at twice. You go through it once and just ogle the artwork, and Wendy Peeney is the one that does the art and the writing, and their husband Richard does like the editing and all the other stuff. So they're elf mom and elf dad, and you just drool over the artwork, and then you go back and give yourself, you know, brain exercises reading the story, and the stories are so interesting, and no two elves are alike, and they're just amazing. And this book is the Big Elfquest Gatherum, and this only goes up to a certain era, because of course it doesn't go up to now with like the final quest there. It's mostly like the first half of the whole universe, and this covers a lot. So, as an Elfquest fan, of course I had to have the Gatherum. Back in the day, they still had comic book shops. And there's different graphic, they call them graphic novel, yeah, Elfquest graphic novels, and they're hardcover books like these that kind of go through different story arcs. And I have the first one of Fire and Flight, where you're introduced to the wolf riders, and you know, the culture and how they met up with the Sun People, and the main characters of the story. And then it goes beyond that to like Blue Mountain and Rogue's Challenge, Kings of the Broken Wheel. And then you have like Hidden Years, because there's a part in the story where they're sort of put to sleep, and what happens to the tribe while these other characters are kind of off to the side. That was pretty neat. And there's the 10 Chiefs anthology, and this is what it started out as many a year ago. This was what, 77. So this has been around for a long time. And this is Cutter, who doesn't really change all that much, who's leader of the original elf tribe you meet, called the Wolf Riders, because they ride wolves. And these guys are about the size of hobbits, you know, maybe even smaller than that. And he originally had 2 sons, but now he has like a son and a daughter. And
the data file has been sent to your comlink.
Thank you, Optimus. And Lita hasn't changed too much, and that's his wife. And the universe is just so detailed. I mean, I could only give you little tidbits. There's so much depth and drama, and you really like the characters. I like Cutter because it just seems like, I can't explain it. It's just something you like about Cutter. This is Skywise, who's sort of the astronomer of the group. Which is why he's called Skywise, because he's, you know, the astronomer. Which is why he's Richard Peeney's elf. And he's quite the ladies elf too. So this, a lot of interviews with the writers, in the artist. Recognition, which is a huge part of the story. And this is an actual excerpt of the comic here. So you can see the artwork is a lot more refined than the first picture I showed you. And there are color, you know, the hardcover books are in color, but I think the original comics were in black and white, but even still you're like, This is Elf Mom and Elf Dad. This is Winnie and Richard Beanie, way in the day. And they still do Comic Cons and all that stuff. So I would like to meet them. Lita's a healer, and how do I explain the universe? There's so much of it. Originally, they were, I don't know if I can tell you that part anyways. They came into the world of two moons, thinking one thing was going to happen and something else did. And because of the something else, the original group of people had to sort of adjust to the world, and one of them, called Tamaine, was able to do this because she was a shapeshifter, and she shaped into the shape of a wolf, and that's kind of how the Wolf Riders began, and that's how they've managed to survive on the world. But there are other groups on the world that ended up in different environments and different places, and the reason Cutter is called Cutter's Kinseeker, and that's sort of the overarching plot of this world, is that he finds these different tribes in different places, usually through his son, who is sort of like an ultimate telepath, empath, and he kind of can sense these other groups. And there's a main villain called Winnowill. She would make Darth Vader, when he was an actual badass, piss his pants. This is not a chick you want to be anywhere near. And they call her the Black Snake. And it's interesting because Lita, Cutter's wife, is like a true healer, where, you know, she can physically heal your wounds, and she's, you know, the personality of a healer. She wants to help. She's, you know, always trying to, you know, fix things. She's gentle. Winnowill is Lita gone bad, where her story, you know, I just can't feel any empathy for this chick, where in their group they were so cut off from everything, where they just sort of evolved, where they didn't have children, and they didn't have accidents, and there was absolutely no need for a healer, so she went nuts just out of boredom, I guess, where she'd make accidents, and she'd, you know, do these really twisted things, and she is, I hate Winnowill. Let's see. Rayek is another one that's kind of lovable, but you just continually want to slap him. But he reminds me very much of Spock. That's old Rayek right there. He's sort of got that kind of personality, but Spock is a lot more cuddly. And like I said, there's so many elves, but each elf has their own unique personality, their own unique job in the world. You know, there's nothing wasted in the story. Everything makes sense. Everything fits in together. Even the humans. And see, that's Cutter and his twins, Suntop the boy and Ember the girl. And then she has a whole new story arc in and of herself. And it's a world you literally follow. There's so much going on. You go from the beginning, and they develop, and you follow them along in these different journeys. And even when you go, it's not like X-Men, where there's like 15 different X-Men titles, and none of them really kind of coexist. All these other titles do, where you have Ember doing her thing. You have, like, you know, the snow elves, and the water elves, and the desert elves, and they're each separate, but they're still this cohesive whole. They always sort of come back to this one thing. So nothing's wasted, there's nothing pointless, it all makes sense. This is Tamaine, the original elf. and they're just so beautifully done. And again, let's lead it. Where the hell is Dark Snake? Some more sort of concepts. Other people trying to do Cutter. And in the back, it tells you and shows you the different elves that you kind of meet in the beginning. Let's see. King. New Star. Oh. There's the black snake. Picture doesn't do her justice though, but that's Winnow. Scary mother. Ugh. God, how I can't remember. Did I pay originally $20 for this, or did I get this as a Christmas present? I don't know, but I got this a long time ago. What is a Gatherum? A Gatherum is an offshoot of the Gatherum, which, according to the dictionary, is a miscellaneous collection and a hodgepodge. What then is the big Elfquest Gatherum? The single biggest and best place to find interviews, articles, portfolios, glossaries, and a wealth of other behind-the-scenes glimpses into the fantastic world of Elfquest, the uniquely American saga of the Wolf Riders that have been enchanting readers since 1978. A hefty volume that will tell you, among many other things, the origins of Elfquest, the many faces it has worn over the years, and the correct pronunciation of Tildak and Ecuar, who are, again, two very important elves in the story. So, you know, seriously just go to like elfquest.com and just dive into this world. Not enough people are aware of that. There are so many more comics other than Batman and Superman. And it's just a magnificent place to play every now and again. Even if you don't start at the very beginning, if you just start at Hidden Years or, you know, like the Blue Mountain Saga, you never really feel lost because you do still kind of get to know the characters. And then you can kind of go, okay, this is how these people met, and you can kind of backtrack, and it still all makes sense. You can drop yourself anywhere and be like, oh, well, what's the odd bit? So, yes, and there's trolls involved, and it is definitely something for any fantasy lover to, if you don't already know, go find them. And you might be able to find the books on Amazon. The graphic novels, just Google Elfquest graphic novel, and if you're lucky, maybe you can find some of the original comics, which are in the bigger, you know, they're kind of like this size. They weren't like the normal comic book size, so that was kind of funny when I managed to stumble across those. It was like, oh. So yes, that is my gush of Elfquest. So I hope I gave you at least an inkling of interest that you may find this wonderment before it truly ends. So now I need to know what happens. Thank you for watching. Do remember to comment, rate, share, and subscribe. There's always room for one more at the Strange and Exotic. See you next time. Bye.